Welcome to Camelback Conversations. I'm Cole, and I'm excited today. We've got Lily and Jeanie. So they are in a college group. They help out with youth group. You guys kind of pop around places. And so we wanted to sit down and hear the story of God's grace in your life and what he's been up to. So what I thought we could do is we could start with maybe give us how you came to know who Jesus is, where you're from. You guys are from two very different places. And then we'll talk about serving as well. So who wants to share first?
I can start first. So I'm originally from Maine, so the other side of the country, but
Different weather.
Yeah, a little bit. Just like a hop, skip, and a jump on the other side. I grew up in the church, so my dad's actually the elder at our church, or the head elder currently. My dad originally wasn't a Christian when him and my mom met, so he kind of came to Christ after my brothers were born, I believe. And since then, we've been going to church and everything. I wasn't really a Christian until, I want to say my senior year of high school. I was very familiar with everything. I went to a Christian school. I knew all the right answers. I could answer all the questions correctly and amazingly. But I didn't have that heart posture until my senior year, and it kind of took the Lord humbling me in a lot of ways, being hey, you need me. And since then, it's kind of been all over the place. But right now, I love him so much. He's been such a great part of my life, especially being in college with all kinds of chaos happening all around at all times. So yeah.
And you came from Maine to GCU.
I did, yes.
Majoring in
finance and economics.
Awesome.
So math and money. Hoping to make some at some point. That'd be cool.
Yeah. And what's your coming to Camelback story? Everybody's got their own unique way that God brings them to Camelback. So how did you end up at Camelback from Maine?
So it's actually really funny. So as far as to Camelback, I was in an English class my freshman year last year, and I met this person in my class, and he had been going to the college group for a month or so, and he's it's really great, I really recommend it, because I mentioned I was looking for a church, and I'd gone to I think North Phoenix and a couple other ones, and they were really good churches. I just was really looking for that community. So he was you should come this Sunday, they're doing a college lunch, and I was okay, whatever, I'll go.
Lunch, yep.
So
sure.
I went to the church that Sunday, instantly just felt so welcomed, and everyone was so sweet and introducing themselves, and that would have been October for me, I think.
That was my first time.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy,
well.
Lily. Oh my gosh, that's insane. And it's really funny because he hasn't gone since then. That person.
That happens.
So he pretty much, and he introduced me and then just never showed up again. So it's it was such a God thing where he was going long enough just to bring me here, and then now I'm here, and I've been here for over a year, so which is kind of crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how about you?
Okay, so I guess I grew up in Slovakia. My parents are missionaries. My mom's Slovak. So I lived my first 7 years in Slovakia, and then I lived in the U.S., and I lived in a couple different states. I lived in Florida and Colorado. So I moved around a lot, and a lot of that shaped my faith and taught me to lean on God and not my circumstances, and really grew me in a lot of amazing ways, and it was really difficult. And then my senior year of high school, I moved to Austria, where my parents now currently live, which was another great growth opportunity.
Are they with an organization?
Yeah, they're currently with Greater Europe Missions, which we have a few missionaries with Camelback with them. So yeah, so I did that, and then I came my senior year of high school. I decided I wanted to go to GCU, and I came over here, and yet again, God continued to humble me and also love me so much at the same time, and led me to Camelback. So
awesome. Majoring in
elementary and special education.
Elementary and special ed. And then what specifically brought you to Camelback?
Mm-hmm. So again, my parents are missionaries, and they every month or couple months they release a prayer letter. And they released my prayer letter saying, dropped our daughter off at GCU. And Abby Grundyke, who's in the church, her mom got our prayer letter, and she was like, no way, my daughter goes to this church, you should go and check it out. Yep. And actually, the pastor, Jim, is someone that my dad knew because they both were at college church many years ago. So that was really awesome. And I was searching for a church and I like couldn't find one. And I was like, for 2 weeks in a row, I couldn't even get to church. And I was so discouraged. And I was like, I can't even get to church. What's going on? And I came on in October. It was the college lunch. And I walked into the college lunch, and Lisa was there with open arms. And she's like, "You're David Phillips's daughter," and she gave me this big hug.
She's the hugger in chief.
Oh my
And
gosh,
I was like,
yeah.
and in that moment, I was like, "Okay, God, thank you.
Yep.
This is where you have me." So been here since.
Awesome. Yeah, I still remember. So it was freshman year of college, and I was a Bible major. So you would think getting to church would be easy, but I'd spent like a good semester and a half just kind of wandering around churches. And I woke up late to go to church and was like, I guess I'm not going to church. So I started like walking up to the cafeteria, and the guy who would eventually be my roommate, a guy named Brett Jones, just said, "Hey, where are you going?" I was like, "I don't know." And he said, "Get in the car, we're going to church." And so that was like, it's amazing how God uses people, right, to plug us into places, to pull stories together, whether it's Slovakia, Maine, like wherever it is. Like God works through newsletters. He works through one-off friends that never show up again.
Yeah.
Like he uses different methods to bring us to where we are. So let's talk about let's go with serving in youth ministry, right? So you guys help out with the youth group. You're with the junior high girls.
Yep, I
And then
am.
You're with senior high girls, and when we're recording, we just finished with them. So it's kind of they're fresh on the mind. But how has serving? Because there's a temptation, especially for college students, but it's across the board, right? Like if you're in your 30s and you got kids and all that, like there's a temptation to not serve, right? There's a temptation to say, I don't need to, I got a lot going on. I got this. Like life's always busy. So how has serving in youth, how has that changed your experience of attending church? Right. So what are some things you've seen that because you serve, this has happened in your life?
Feel like I just have so much joy, like especially seeing the girls. I see them on, Sundays as well. And to be able to have these connections of, wow, this was said at church and it's so deeply impacted me. And then you just, you can have your own experience going to church and whatever's going on in your life, but to see it like God moving through all the different people, including like really amazing girls at our church, has just been like so cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like, I love my junior high girls. I mean, they are so chaotic, but I just love it so much. And I think the big thing for me is it's given me a level of accountability that I maybe didn't have originally, where it's like I'm coming every week on Wednesdays and I'm trying to minister to these girls, and it's like I can't do that if I'm not also like following the things that I'm trying to teach them. So there's kind of like always that little bit of like, Jeanie, you can't do this. You told the girls earlier they probably shouldn't be doing this. Or like, and you told them to be like in their Bible. Are you in your Bible? Like kind of stuff like that. And also like I've had a lot of people be like, you need to have someone mentoring you and you need to be mentoring someone else. So it's kind of like I have a lot of amazing people that are pouring into my life. And so it's like I want to pour into other people's lives as well. And being an oldest sibling too, I just like, I just love working with like younger kids. And I mean, they're not that young. They're like middle school. But they're just so fun. I love the age group, especially since my little sister's that age. So I just feel like I get to hang out with a bunch of like... Yeah,
it's like, it's as close to being home as you can get.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially with being so far. But yeah, sorry, long-winded answer.
No, that's great. Yeah, and those are two sides to it, right? Like when we serve, it's not just us, jumping in to hopefully gain something, right? But it's the accountability of, I have said, this is how I want to love in the body, right? Like whether it's in the sound booth, in greeting, in youth, in children's ministry, wherever that is, like that accountability, it shapes our experience because one, it means we have to be here. Like we have to, it's like the days that you don't want to do it, we're there, right? And then, but on the flip side, there's also the relationships that are built, that it's like church is Christianity in community. And so without those relationships, we're just kind of, it's a ritual. But if we're serving, there is something about, there's sweat equity, right? And And there is the prayer equity as well, right? Like each one of you is working with students, and there's amazing things of doing that, and then there's times where you're like, I just hope you get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just desperately want you to love Jesus, but serving helps you build that, right? Like we don't just naturally have that desire. And so if you had just thinking about, I want to kind of now I want to bump over to college a little bit. We won't call college young, although it's been a minute since I've been in college. I'm still in school though, so I get to have the college conversation. Just 10 years removed. What is a distinctive you see about trying to share your faith with peers? Right. So you guys are at GCU, which. So I went to a Christian school as well, and kind of my rule of thumb is if a Christian school has 30 to 40% saved, that's like really good. Like we're cranking. Probably you're gonna be lucky if you get that high, right? Like it's a Christian school, but how Christian? Like there's non-Christians in churches too, right? So we don't presume that everybody is saved. So what are some distinctives you guys see to sharing the faith and calling people to live in community? You know, whether it's unsaved people or it's Christians who are in your age bracket who aren't walking with the Lord, right? So they have this like, I grew up with the faith, but now that I've gone to college, I'm free. I go to a Christian school. I don't have to go to church. So what does the conversation look like? So as you're calling people, as you're you got invited by a guy, hey, come to college group, right? Like what are the conversations to either get people engaged in the faith or come to church with me?
Rekindling that.
Yeah. So I think a lot of my conversations, I'm an RA, so I see a wide range of different people in my building.
Which is tricky because you're also the boss.
Yeah. So it's...
But your buddy, the boss? Yeah.
But there's like a huge, just like students feeling lost. And I think sometimes they do want to be close, but that like lostness overwhelms that want to be closer. And it's a lot of just like speaking truth into the lives and being like Jesus is the answer. Like you need Jesus. And I know that this is hard. Go to Jesus with all of those things. It can be happy emotions. It can be scared. It can be angry, but like go to God with them. That's what I feel like I see a lot.
Yeah. And I think because it's a Christian college, there's a lot of pressure for everyone to seem like they have their act together a little bit. Like I have a couple of friends that I know, like I'm worried about them because, like, I don't know how much they're really prioritizing the Lord in their life. And it's hard to have that conversation because they want to act like they have it all together. And they feel this immense pressure of, like, oh, well, all my friends are Christians, so, like, I must be Christian. So I think, like, it's, like, a balance between kind of, like, that tough love a little bit of, like, hey, like, I've noticed you haven't gone to church in a little while. Like, what's going on? And also, like, not trying to like shove it down their throat as well because there was a friend I had last year who wasn't a Christian, and I feel like she felt a lot of pressure from all of us to like, you should be a Christian, and that pushed her even further away. Like she didn't want anything to do with it now this year. So I think it's like also being like, I try and be vulnerable a little bit where I'm like, yeah, like there's times where like I would literally rather do anything else than like go to church this week. Like I'm tired. I was up until like midnight that night. I don't want to Lily can attest. I'm up late most nights. I'm exhausted most of the time. So it's like kind of being like, yeah, like it's okay if you're having doubts, and I want to have those like authentic conversations with you, and I want to be able to work through this with you, but I can't do that if you're not being honest with me.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's a world that's searching for authenticity, right? Like that. I need to see what's real. So turn to Jesus because he's real, right? Or live your faith. It needs to be real.
Yeah, and I think there's also a lot of, like, I have a couple of friends where, like, they felt a lot of pressure from their parents to go to a Christian college, and now they're doing crazy stuff.
Yep.
Now that they're, like, away from it. So there's also, like, a lot of church hurt to navigate as well, which is hard.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been awesome. Thanks so much for sharing and for opening up and letting people get to know what's going on in your lives, what it's like serving. We always want to encourage everybody, find a place to serve, right? Like wherever it is, it doesn't have to be fancy. Like it just needs to, you just need to be serving, you need to be around the body, and you need to be living with the body. So whether you're in college or you're a little removed of college, then we need to be serving the Lord, and we need to be serving together. So Thanks, guys. It's been awesome.